Hey guys, this week we have a 2025 Kia Sportage X Pro Prestige. Now the segment of compact SUVs where the Sportage competes in is pretty competitive with more than a dozen of vehicles to choose from. And believe it or not, when the Sportage first came out over 30 years ago, it didn't have that many rivals. Something that was once a body-on-frame construction, co-developed with Mazda, is now a full-grown unibody SUV that shares the platform with cars like a Kia K5, Kia Sorento, or Hyundai's Tucson, which is Sportage's cousin and technically a rival in the segment. Now we have a couple of powertrain options to choose from. We are today in a base 2.5 liter 187 horsepower 4-cylinder. We also get two hybrid variants, one conventional hybrid with 221 horsepower and the most powerful plug-in hybrid that offers, I think, around 267 horsepower. The NA motor is mated to an 8-speed conventional automatic, which is Hyundai and Kia's in-house design. The hybrid variants are coupled to a 7-speed dual clutch. Now, since we're on my favorite back road, let's put this thing into sport mode and see how it drives. Alright. Brakes are fine for what this thing is. I'm not gonna lie, despite softly tuned suspension, the thing doesn't really understeer. There's a plenty of body roll, and this 2.5 liter doesn't seem to be enough. It does make the Sportage feel underpowered, and there's basically no torque. 178 pound-feet, kicks about 4,000 RPM, and you can really tell that you have to rev this thing to get it going. Now, it's also not the most refined unit on the market, but you will probably appreciate its simple construction. It does have direct injection, but it isn't good old NA motor, so yeah, it just doesn't feel like it has enough power and torque. Now, I'm not gonna lie, we are spoiled with all those turbo engines that have a lot of low-end torque available. Anyways, driving this thing aggressively is pointless. I'm really curious what the hybrid and plug-in hybrid variants drive like, mainly because you get that 1.6 liter turbo, which offers more torque, and then you add electric motors to that. The car is definitely much more lively. Anyways, when you drive like a human being, this thing is pretty comfortable. The seating position is great. The visibility throughout the cabin is also fantastic. You sit relatively high, and the dashboard is low, so you can see everything very well. You get physical controls for things that matter. Here's your dimmer, your traction control button off, parking brake, and here we get all the seat controls. Drive modes also easily accessible here. Now we get this touch sensitive panel that you can use either for your climate control and shortcut buttons for the infotainment system. Not the best solution, but it's a good thing that you don't entirely rely on the touchscreen. And I have one gripe with the placement of it. It's just way too far. When I have my proper sitting position, the screen is way too far, so I basically have to lean forward to use it when I have to. Not the safest thing to do while driving. It would be nice to have a controller, but Kia decided not to do that. I think the last Kia product that I drove with the controller was the K900. It had previous generation of Kia's Uvo Connect system. And unfortunately, this system has not been designed with physical controller in mind. Anyways, we did have some understeer over there, and the body was leaning. Again, that's totally fine because Kia is smart enough. They know what the target audience for this thing is. They know people who buy this thing want a comfortable appliance that is gonna take them from point A to point B safely, and this is what Kia drives. You get a great set of driver assistant features, Kia's hybrid driver assist works very well, keeps you in lane, the adaptive cruise control is very smooth. The cabin overall is very well isolated. There isn't that much NVH, especially if you compare it to something like a RAV4. The engine, despite not being refined, is well isolated. The suspension works quietly and perfectly soaks up all the road imperfections. Now, the X Pro package that we get gives you higher ground clearance, 8.3 inches to be exact. You get all-terrain tires, which actually help because they have pretty big sidewalls, so there's a lot of damping between you and any imperfections. Obviously, the all-wheel drive system is standard in the X Pro. You have an option to lock the center diff and split the torque 50-50 up to a certain speed. Are you gonna need it? Probably not. The X Pro package is mostly a visual appearance, you know, something that can compete with Forester wilderness. What else we got that's kind of like off-roady-ish? If I remember, RAV4 is still offered in a TRD-ish trim, and we get Ford Bronco Sport. Like I said, there's so many rivals in the segment that it's hard to list them all, but the Sportage would be definitely high on my list. Again, going back to the cabin real quickly, it's a very comfortable place to be in. The armrests are in a perfect position. The seats are very soft and comfortable. It's very quiet in here. You get plenty of space. That's where Kia killed it, with the space in this thing. The legroom is massive. Cargo space, also almost 40 cubic feet of space. This can easily be a vehicle for a family with 2 kids. I would not have any problems having it as my daily. The only thing is driving is not engaging, especially with this 2.5 liter under the hood, but hey, not everyone needs all that power and sporty handling. I don't know what else to say about the Sportage. Pricing starts at around 27 grand for the base LX model. This top of the line X Pro Prestige is around 40 grand, which on one hand is a lot. On the other, with today's pricing and how expensive cars are, it's pretty okay. Obviously you get, you know, Kia's fantastic powertrain warranty. I don't know, pretty cool appliance. I would definitely recommend it to someone who's looking for a compact SUV and needs space for their family, their dogs, their kids, their bikes, whatever you want to do. Styling is pretty cool, you know, doesn't feel like an NPC vehicle, doesn't feel like a Porsche Macan knockoff anymore like the previous gen did. So if you're in the market, definitely check it out. You're not gonna regret it. I would definitely look into the hybrid or plug-in hybrid variants. Hyundai and Kia do them pretty well as Toyota. So it's definitely a product worth recommending. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about the Sportage, feel free to drop a comment and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.